Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to the morning show. Welcome back to the morning view. Hope you guys are doing well. Tuesday, 22nd of October. Let us know where you're watching from, how you're feeling, how you are doing. Smash a like, man. Make sure you get involved in the channel. You can join the membership as well. Make sure you do that. I'm a little bit small there. Let's increase that size. There you go. Make me bigger.
Yes, I was going to say you're very low down.
I know, but I did it before, and I was like, "What's going on here?" Like this. Yeah, what's up, guys?
It's very relaxed. It's very relaxed.
Well,
I feel like one of those school teachers, you know what I mean? Sit up straight.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, didn't read that, sir. But big up to each and every single one of you, man. Let us know where you're at. What's all the mods saying? Lil Yo-Yo, every day, back the manager. Just every day. Lil Yo says they're back. Danny Luciano says, now I hear, won't you, in the song. I don't know what they're talking about. Lil Yo says,
well, I asked the other day when I was doing the show solo, I said, what's that phrase at the start of the intro? You know, there's like a little phrase said, well, you can't hear it, but like when that with the song, there's something that said, and then the rest of the intro plays. And I was like, what is that phrase? And now many people are going back and trying to figure it out, you know, as to what it is.
At the beginning of the morning view.
Yeah,
and it's got that little woman singing a bit like.
Yeah, well, it might not be. I don't know. I thought it was bonjour. Apparently, it's not. And some people are saying it's want you. You know, it's or some people are saying don't you. You know, I don't know.
Wow. So, all right, yeah. I hear that. I'm gonna have to listen more intently because I do know that little word that you're saying.
A little bit,
saying as well, but I've never sat and gone, I wonder what they're actually saying there. Interesting. Yeah. All right. I'm back after birthday celebrations yesterday morning, everyone, says Marion. Happy birthday for your birthday. Happy belated. Big up to you. Tabra says it's Saeed saying Ten Hag out. Saeed at the front. Ten Hag out, mate. Ten Hag out. That's always a catchphrase, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watching from Lil Yo-Yo's basement. Oh, interesting.
Very sinister.
Interesting. But we have got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the potential return of Antony and how that is viewed in Ajax. There's been some reports coming out from the Dutch outlet, The Telegraph, which is very reliable in terms of stuff coming out of the Netherlands about a potential return for Antony and what that could look like. Jamie Carragher, has had his say on Rasmus Hojlund and how he thinks he's doing, and you know that. How good of a player he thinks he is. We'll get into some of the quotes about that. And Lenny Yoro. We did sort of touch on it yesterday, but we didn't really go into it. And I think Man United did make a big deal about this yesterday evening, posting loads of pictures, talking about how he's doing. A return is not imminent around the corner, but he's back. So yeah, let's get into it, man. What we got this morning?
Yeah, so there's some interesting stuff about Antony dos Santos, Flex, about a possible return to Ajax. Now, there have been quite a few stories, haven't there, over the last few weeks, really, sort of suggesting he could go in January, whether it be a loan move, whether it be a permanent move, or what have you. Now, as you mentioned, The Telegraph, a big Dutch-based outlet, Mike Verwij, who I remember back when we were signing Erik ten Hag, we were gripped with. We were talking about all the stuff that was going on about, are we going to sign Ten Hag and all the Ajax players. He has said, and this kind of does take it a little bit out of context, says that Ajax have discussed the possibility of re-signing Antony, but they're unsure about the state of the player's mindset after his struggles at Manchester United. Now, to give a bit more of a sort of insight as to what actually Mike Verwij actually said about all of this, he said, within Ajax, there is also some doubt about bringing Antony back if that possibility arises. There is internal discussion about that. He also then says, kind of rejected any suggestions that Antony could struggle if he were to return to the Eredivisie or anything like that. He said, I would stop at that discussion, especially after seeing Wout Weghorst, Bertrand Traore, Davy Klaassen. Verwij said, if Antony returns to the Eredivisie, he would also feel like he's in a children's paradise. And at Ajax, the thought is whether they should bring in a Brazilian who did not make it at Manchester United and is therefore also quite sad. I do think it would be a good decision. Now, of course, Erik ten Hag has been asked a few times about Antony, saying, you know, is he getting impatient? Ten Hag always does the same lines, doesn't he? He has to earn the right to play. He's impatient, but he wants to play, etc., etc. What do you make? Do you think of it? There's anything in that? You know, there does seem to be those stories. I remember we did one a few weeks ago, wasn't it? When I think it was caught offside, we went, "Oh, I don't really know if there's anything in that." But then I remember Chris Wheeler came out and said something similar, didn't he? Saying, "Well, United would be open to offers, look at offers in January." Now you've got reports in the Netherlands saying, well, maybe it's not completely active, but Ajax have certainly discussed the possibility. If we could get Antony, would we want to bring him in? So do you think there's a chance he could go in January?
I do. I really, really do. If there's anyone who can look to get a temporary move to the summer to get some confidence, to get some game time, to start discussing what a move could look like, it's Antony. I think that we've had some dead rubbers in the last couple of years for different reasons. Obviously, the Jadon Sancho thing happened because of internal reasons, but from that point, they have to start building up to a transfer. In Antony's case, spent 80 million on him. So it's not going to be easy just to get to a transfer window and just agree something. It's probably going to have to go in stages. And not just that, it's the fact that how badly it hasn't worked and how inactive he actually is. Like, he never gets any starts. Don't think he's got a start this season, unless it was Barnes. Did he start? He started against Barnsley, actually, didn't he?
Okay, Barnsley, yeah.
But I think that's his only start. Not unused sub most of the time. So he's not getting hardly any game time. So that value, on top of just having a couple of seasons that haven't gone to plan when he was playing, his value is quickly diminishing by the game, by the week, because he's just not even getting minutes. And that's a big problem for Man United, who want to move him on, who already have to accept that a minimum of a half of a deficit on his 80 million. That's at best as well, selling him for 40. And they now need to look at what it looks like for him to get into the shop window again. And if that means an initial loan back to Ajax just to the end of the season with no obligation, I think Man United would take something like that, sort the wages out and send him there with no obligation, just so he can get comfortable and get playing again, because you want this player to show something. It's almost like the Sancho thing. The best thing that happened, even though we only got 25 million for it, the best thing that happened for Man United and Jadon Sancho was for him to go to Dortmund with with no obligation and just get confidence and play. And it just so happened he got to a Champions League final, which turned into a hold that, this, that, and the other. But overall, forget that. The business side of it worked. And it's the same with Antony for different reasons. And for him, I think he would be fine if he went back there. Like, I think Mike Void's right to look at people like Davy Klaassen. You know, you look at Wout Weghorst. They've been about the place. You know, the fact that Wout Weghorst came to the Premier League with Burnley and United, I'm not going to say he didn't make it. He did a job that we expected the player like Wout Weghorst to do for us, which we respect. At Burnley, you know, we wouldn't say made it. He was just kind of there, did okay. But look, you go back to Ajax, and he's doing all right. Same with Davy Klaassen. He wasn't outstanding at Everton, was he? He was all right. So it can easily happen, and that's not to disrespect Ajax, because they're a huge football club. But like Adam said yesterday, like, when it's Italy and the Eredivisie and stuff, they're just completely different leagues, man. Like, unless you are top, just because you make it there, it does not mean you're going to make it here.
Yeah, I think I always push back on the idea of him leaving permanently in the summer and in January.
In the summer as well.
In the summer and in January, because there's just not a lot really. There's not a lot of incentive really for him, apart from obviously playing football. But for him, probably the best move, he would think, well, you know, I can go on a loan, say to Ajax, like you said, almost similar to the Sancho thing. I can go on loan to Ajax. Obviously, I can continue to get my, you know, base salary at Man United, which is like 200k, you know, and I can play, and then we can kind of reevaluate it in the summer. That's the problem, isn't it? When you do sign players, not only for the amount of money that we signed him for, but then just looking at the contract that we gave him, going from, was it 20k to around 200? Then when it doesn't work out 2 years after the fact, and we say about players, the Omar Parada thing, right? 2 years, then we can see, what's this, Antony's third season now? And he's way off it. You know, let's be honest, you know, he's way off it. Even if we'd signed him for like 40 million, we'd be going, nah, it's not
still
really
tight.
working out. Yeah, it's not really working out. So, you know, he's wherever he goes next, if it was going to be permanent, they'd go, right, so what are we going to do about the wages then? Like, how are we going to bridge that gap? United are going to have to like pay that off. How much is he going to be willing to drop down? Because wherever he goes, he is going to drop down. He's going to drop down. So all of that's not going to happen in January, is it? Let's face it. So if he were to go in January to like an Ajax, probably would be a loan, you know.
Definitely.
And then you talk about, like you say, maybe in the summer, All right, they might take a bit longer. How are we going to figure this out from a wage point of view? So, not that I couldn't see him going in January on a loan. Could definitely see that on a permanent. I'd be very, very surprised if that happened. Very surprised.
I think in the summer, it's if we've got the people we think we've got who are meticulous, and you have to be ruthless with it. They might have to cut him a check and just say, we've essentially had to do the same with Sancho. We've had to go 25 million. He's on loan with you to the rest of the year. He's on more than Antony. He's on like 300 something, isn't he? And we've had to find a way to make that work, and that's in the Premier League. So, and then obviously Sancho, that's an obligation, isn't it? The 25. So, providing I think nothing bad happens, like a really bad injury, hopefully that doesn't happen.
I think the Sancho one, it's dependent on league finish as well. So the higher up Chelsea finish, the more we get,
more we get. So it might be a bit more. But what I'm saying is the people like Jim, Omar Barada and Ashworth and Wilcox, all these guys, Favell, Favell, don't forget him. Like, we need to start. I know, like, we're saying, well, what do we do because of the money? Well, this is what these guys are brought in for. This is what we're judging them on. I'm not saying they have to sort it all in one swoop with a magic wand, but we need to see them start tackling some of the big issues. And to be fair, in the first summer, the Sancho one was a big, big problem. And they worked it out from very early by deciding, send him on loan, build it up, get him back on a tour, get him smiling, play him on the tour, make sure you play him, Eric. You could just see how they manufactured that business-wise so that it was conducive for him to leave. And they'll have to do the same with Antony. Maybe he might not play on the tour, but actually probably would if he came back. But you have to find a way. It's their job to number crunch and work it out. If that means the hit's going to be the hit. We might only be able to get 25 million for Antony too. About right.
Or you're working on it now. Basically.
You're working on it now. Yeah.
You're ringing up Ajax, or you're ringing up whoever it may be.
Yeah, sound it out.
Next summer. You interested in Antony? What would you be looking at? Do you want to work out? Let's work on it now. Hey, let's do a loan thing, and then we can talk about it in the summer, just so you can get
the relationship going.
Exactly, that's what you've got. That's what you got to do. Because remember, that was the thing in the summer too, isn't it? As much as many were impressed with some of the business that we did do, there was this sort of pushback of, well, they haven't actually been in the job very long. When you've got a full year to prepare for these things, and that's why I say I think we are going to be active, or more active than we have been recently in January, because I just feel like, particularly with the Sancho stuff that happened right at the end of the window, we didn't really do any business. I know we did Ugarte, but that was well planned. I do feel like there'll be something. There'll be wiggle room basically for United to do something, and also they might be actively trying to move players on, which sometimes we don't really do. Also in January, like last year, it was like, well, the Sancho was going to happen because it has to happen in January because we've got to address that. But sometimes we just don't really bother. We just kind of let it go. So we'll figure it out in the summer. So I think, him going out on loan in January could be possible. Because at this point as well, of Antony, if it's not Carabao Cup, like, he gets named on the bench, like, he don't really come on that much either, does he?
No, Ahmad's ahead of him. And the only thing I think of the reason why he could stay, or is staying, or might stay beyond that, is fear of people getting injured. That's it. Like Eric saying, I know I'm not going to use him, but if I did get a significant injury to Ahmad, who's like the next in line to Rashford and Garnacho respectively, we're toast. Like, I don't have anyone else. Or even if like Garnacho got injured, and if any one of them got injured, indefinitely, or a big injury, which, my God, we really do hope, because like, I'll be honest, with what Rashford and Garnacho look like they're starting to do, they're doing a decent job at the minute of like even keeping Ahmad just a bay. Do you know what I mean? Just the effectiveness. Of course, Ahmad's brilliant because he gives us something different, keeps the ball better, takes people on, more patient. But a few people were saying they want Ahmad to be more nasty, like cut in, take more shots, like, so you can get that end product. Whereas Garnacho, he's nowhere near as technically sound as Ahmad, nowhere near. But his raw, rugged, ruthless nature of, I'm just going to keep going, I'm going to keep shooting. How many shots did he take the other day that were just blocked? Blocked, go wide,
and that's
get
not
tipped
new.
over.
He does
that
a high
volume. Yeah, he's just a high volume crosser, high volume shooter, high volume dribbler. But my point is basically, so they're doing all right. But if the big injury happens to Ahmad or Garnacho or Rashford, we will start to look at our wide options and be like, we don't have any. Well, it's only Antony. So that's the only reason why I could see Ten Hag maybe being reluctant out of just fear of injury. But in terms of, like we say, what tells us most about a manager's thinking? It's the minutes that the players get. They say all the things in the press conference. He's hungry, got to earn your spot, no problem. I know he can prove it. But he went from backing him every week by playing him, saying, I know he will come good, to going, okay, you're going to contribute to losing me my job. I like the loyalty from the great times we had in Ajax. Sorry, on you sub.
Yeah,
simple as that.
And also, it's one of those ones where it's not like, like sometimes with certain signings, when a club or a manager just stake a lot on it financially or sort of a reputation point of view, sometimes they can over persist because they're like, I can't make this work. I've got to make it work. It's past that, isn't it? I think, to Ten Hag's credit, and it's a weird thing to credit him for, actually, of like a flop sided, but he has actually given up on that one.
Admitting defeat is the praise.
And because he's usually very stubborn, it says more about the situation, really, that he has literally just gone, no, it's not worked out. It's not worked out. It's not, there was that story, wasn't there, after, I forget what game it is. It might have been the Liverpool one where Antony actually scored, where he was like a few minutes, he was put at left back or something like that. And then, he was like, he was just gesticulating, saying, I don't really want to do it. And then I think it was Laurie on The Athletic was saying, like, yeah, Ten Hag really chewed him out in the dressing room afterwards, a bit like, no, you do what I tell you to, blah, blah, blah. So, and after that, I didn't really featured all that much, to be honest with you. And yeah, like.
Has he even come off the bench? Did he come off the bench against Villa? I think he did, didn't he?
I forget.
Because I remember him running up the wing.
Every time he comes off the bench now, it's like a meme, isn't it? Because when he came off, was Arsenal when he came on and did the whole, the proper like superhero face like that, and then he came on. So every time he comes off the bench now, they're like, Antony's coming on. It's one of those ones. It hasn't worked out. It was,
and it's not going to.
No, it's not going to. He's put on a too big contract. We spent too much. None of those things, by the way, are his fault. That's Manchester United's fault. That's, John Murtough, Richard Arnold's fault for signing off on that. And not only, you want to talk about, KG mentioned it last night on the red carpet about being fooled by comps and what have you, with that. I wouldn't say we were necessarily fooled by comps on Antony, because we actually actively had Ajax fans saying, you've massively overspent for him. What are you doing? And I was like, we don't care. And then he scored against Arsenal. We were like, see, that's, yeah, exactly. Did that. And we were like, we didn't spend. KG's, I remember, go find the video, UV clips with Antony. We didn't spend enough. Is the words he said at the time.
Yeah.
And, we weren't even sold dreams.
I remember defending him to the point where, remember he does the Antony special spinneroonie. He did it in the Europa League and then kicked the ball out. And then I think it was Robbie Savage and just like all the media, like, absolute idiot. Why is he doing? And I remember going, don't let them silence you, Antony. If you need to do that to feel tapped into the game, you're Brazilian. Express yourself. These kind of, basic football, old school, man. They don't know anything, man. Express yourself. You keep doing your spin thing. I remember doing it. I remember being like, why is everyone talking about this? We've been there. Because again, siege mentality, innit? When you first get a player, siege mentality, I get it. You back you guys. Again, until you get a sample size of sustained period, and you go, right, I've got to change my opinion on that because the evidence I've seen is he's not very good.
Yeah. and the worst thing is, like, literally, we had people that had watched him for like 2 years in Amsterdam, and they went, he's not that good. Like, he's not. I mean, no, he is. No, he's not. And then, he wasn't.
Yeah. All Elite says, Ajax boys said to us, he's good, but not even worth 40 million at the time. We paid 90. Exactly. Tabra says, I call Garnacho AJ Tracy because he's live and direct. Like AJ Tracy, he is live and direct. And just above that from Tabrez, Fred in the chat says, Ahmad has now been frozen back to the bench. And I do think for the foreseeable, you always got to take things in like this batch of games. You can't, I'm not saying for the rest of the season, but like, if there's a game tomorrow, there's a game in a couple of days, you get the feeling now, okay, he's going to go Garnacho and Rashford. You have to after the other day. And, you can see him sort of starting to settle down with, Hojlund's going to be the starting striker. We know that. He's starting to settle down a little bit with some of the decisions. And like I said, those players deserve a bit of credit for that. Because Garnacho, to be fair, we were saying, isn't it? This is the time for Ahmad because Garnacho's not there on pre-season because he's coming back late from Copa America. So by default, someone else will have to start in that position because he wouldn't have had enough time to recover. Ahmad had a really good pre-season. Gets the start, gets the nod against Man City, plays okay, better in the second half. Garnacho, straight on, scores.
But we said that like at the beginning stages of the season, as bad as United have been, you do look at Garnacho and his output, and you go, he
Yeah,
scored like 5 goals in all comps or something like
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like
He's doing the business.
more often than not, when we have scored this season, it's been Garnacho. Also, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? He scored
So you
again,
have to
obviously
look
at
at
the
it and go, the
weekend.
output.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and he should
And
have
obviously,
scored against Palace as well. Should have
should have
scored
scored
against
against Palace.
Palace.
Yeah.
He should have
Should
scored
have
against
scored.
Fulham. You
That was
know,
the one. Yeah.
and when he missed open goal, like in
Yeah.
those games, I know we've been saying about how often we've been missing chances.
He's
Look,
always there.
it's either Garnacho missing them or scoring them.
Yeah. There's no real in between, isn't it?
Exactly, that's what he's been doing this season. So
Yeah.
he has been he's been playing really well. And although the thing I would say with Ahmad, it does feel like sometimes with him, Erik ten Hag likes tried and tested. Last season, his front three was Rashford, Garnacho, Hojlund. And you do get the impression thus far this season that if he's ever had the chance to have Rashford, Hojlund,
He plays it.
Garnacho, he's like, well, I'm going to go with that. You know, that's what I'm going to go with. And if Ahmad plays and he has like a okay half, he's going to go, no, I'll take Ahmad off then. I'll bring Garnacho on. You can feel it. Yeah.
And, and also we love Ahmad, but it's up to him as well you have to impact the game. If you've got a guy there who, it's a shootout for the position, isn't it? You've got to be ruthless in this. Garnacho, like we know, he ain't got no problem with self-belief. He ain't got no problem with being nasty. He ain't got no problem with thinking he's Ronaldo.
And he's not even a right winger. I mean, last season he kicked out again Antony and others on the right hand side, and he's a left hand sided player.
And that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter whether he plays on the left or the right. The kid just gets his head down. Sometimes bit frustrating because we're like, just get your head up, cross it earlier, or final ball, this, that, and the other, final finish. Yes, got a lot to work on, but he finds a way to just be direct. And sometimes, I think, like Saeed said, sometimes he has games where that really, really works, and he's on his game, like that was Brentford. Other games, you're like, right, got to take him off. He's not quite at it today. He's everything not coming off. So, and that's why, again, good, healthy competition with good young wingers. Because whoever plays, we're happy. Smash the like, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel as well. We are heading towards 1,000 people watching live as well. So make sure you guys get involved. 180 likes right now. Let's get that to 200. I know you guys can do that for us and support the channel. Jamie Carragher. We spoke a lot about Xerxes yesterday on the red carpet. And in the aftermath of that, Monday night, was it on Monday Night Football?
Monday Night Football,
yeah, Jamie Carragher heaped praise on Rasmus Hojlund.
Yes, so they were discussing, obviously, the game at the weekend, the victory for Manchester United. And Jamie Carragher said, I think he's starting to look a player. I do. I was really impressed with him a couple of weeks ago away in Porto. He put a real shift in. Outstanding again on the weekend. Now, interestingly, kind of the sort of converse part of that is Dimitar Berbatov talking on Rio Ferdinand's channel. I don't know if you've seen this as well.
I did.
But he said, I think as a striker, he needs to be more demanding and arguing, not just being nice and just pushing the buttons of some of the players around him. Like, give me the ball, asking for the ball when the ball is not coming, because I can see that he was doing some runs behind the defense and nobody was seeing him, which is, to be fair, something something people were saying last season with him as well. So, making runs, providing service, he needs to have maybe demand more from his teammates. So you've got a bit of praise there and a bit of, but still need to improve on this. You obviously had your say on Xerxes last night, Flex, and the Hojlund situation. What do you make of that praise? And is he the bona fide starting number 9 now for you?
Yeah. Again, I said this yesterday before these quotes even happened. Because that's just, we can see with our eyes. That's just, it's not a diss. It's not a get out of here, Xerxes, you're right. It's nothing to do with that. It's just giving Rasmus his flowers. And like you said, Owen, yesterday, he has had a whole year here to get comfortable or to learn, because he's still very raw. Rasmus is by no means the finished article or the polished article. He's very raw. He's got a lot to learn. I saw a quote, I think, of him a few days ago when he was having an interview. I think it was after the Brentford game, when he was basically saying, I was trying not to fight too much with defenders. I was trying to focus on getting the ball to my feet.
Which is what we said.
Again, these are the things that which is great to see, by the way. This is what you call the evolution of a young player learning his trade, especially at Man United in the hardest league in the world, as a number 9. We saw last year his willingness, his readiness to just go and engage straight away with the centre back and fight and wrestle. It happened nearly every game last year where we went, if he, like, you can do that if you're strong enough and just undoubtedly strong enough to win all those duels. But right now, you need to, like you said, go collect the ball first, get the ball to your feet, then work out, have a touch and feel where the defender is behind you. Like, you can't just instantly start wrestling these big centre halves. A lot of the time, we're playing shit as well. He's isolated. He's got 2 around him. Sometimes they're playing 3 at the back, just getting gobbled up. And I think we are starting to see him get a bit more streetwise. So to hear him say that as a comment is brilliant, because that means he's working on his game and we're seeing the same things. When he says things like, it's a privilege to play football, privilege to play for Man United. Sometimes, we get a lot of criticism, but other times we're superstars. I'm living the dream. Like, he's understanding how this thing goes. That basically tells me that when it's really low, don't get too low, and when you're really high, don't get too high. And I think the second part of the first half, because I think the first few moments of that half against Brentford, Pinnock was having him up. It was looking like that, same, not getting hold of it, getting out wrestled, not winning the headers, which is tough against Pinnock anyway. He's massive, because even some of the balls he was playing to Hojlund were a bit hospital. But it clicked into gear when he done that. He has like a little trademark where he drops off the front, does that Cruyff turn, and spins
he did
away
a
from
little turn in the first half.
Yeah, and then there was a clip of comp the other day. I don't know if you saw it, where someone put out about Rasmus saying, "Look at all the things he's done." And when you see it, like, that is a bit of a trademark, that little Cruyff and then fizz it out to the left.
Well,
so he's starting to do little things.
Like you said, in the first half, he was isolated. Also, because in that first 20 minutes when we weren't very good, it felt like our strategy was to basically just hoof it long, and he was working on sort of knockdowns and stuff like that. But all of the hoof balls forward didn't go anywhere near a red shirt. That's why in the first half I was going like, actually, Andre Onana's long ball distribution is a bit of a myth, because sometimes
not like the guy in the player rating said, unreal. His distribution's unreal today.
Long ball. Sometimes, like, I think maybe in the second half, or forget when it was.
For Dallo.
Yeah, ball over the top when he was through, and you go, that right. I'll tell you what, good pass.
Twice.
But sometimes you watch him, you go, I don't know about that. So Hojlund was definitely isolated in the first half. I think, going back to what we were talking about last night, the reason for me why he's the starting striker, the number 9, not just because of the number on the back of his shirt, but he's a more traditional striker, isn't he? He leads the line. I think he is a better finisher than Xerxes. Not to say that Hojlund's a great finisher, because there has been, I remember in the Euros, there was discussion about his sort of one-on-one finishing wasn't great. He had a difficult tournament, didn't he? But the finish he did against Brentford at the weekend, it's not an easy goal. Still not an easy goal and an easy finish. And the hope, I suppose, would be now, a bit like what we saw last season, is it does feel like sometimes with Hojlund, he scores goals in clusters, doesn't he? And now you're looking at him, what's that? 2 in his last 3. If you're looking at the Porto game, obviously didn't score against Villa, and obviously now he scored against Brentford. So you're going, all right then. Okay, so if he starts on Thursday, you could easily see him scoring, because he's in a bit of form at this point, right? So you can see why he's the starting striker. And also, I just don't think, having seen Xerxes play a few times this season, like I said before, I just don't think he's that kind of player that's a kind of lead the line striker for this system anyway. If we were playing a system that was a bit more like, the striker actually is more of a false 9, drops deeper in sort of the 10 position, kind of actually swaps with the 10 a little bit, and it's more about the wingers scoring goals than just sort of the focal striker, then I go, I kind of get that. But with Xerxes, it kind of feels like a little bit, he's trying to find his place at the moment. I don't agree with the fact of he's not good, because frankly, we just haven't seen enough of him to, I think, determine whether or not he's actually good, or how long he's going to work out. I mean, we've spoken about Antony this morning. He's been at the club for 2.5 years now.
Exactly.
We know
you can make that. Yeah,
with Joshua Xerxes, and even I mentioned, I think Mason Mount's a flop signing, because we've not seen any of him, and he's been here for 18 months, and he's been injured most of the time with different injuries. That's a flop signing. Xerxes, a bit of a problem with availability. He's been on the bench more often than not. We just don't really know. It's going to take a little bit of time, and he's young. But as of right now, Hojlund's the number 9. He should be the number 9. He's been here longer, and he fits the system better.
It's just the biggest
that's
thing.
What I was saying last night was recruitment. That's the only thing with the Xerxes when I would sort of go, right, who signed off on this? Because what did they think they were getting?
Yeah, basically. But maybe the plan is, I mean, look, and if it is this, maybe the plan is to have something completely chalk and cheese to what you've got. Because if you do have 2 of the same things, if Hojlund's in a game and it's not going right, and you bring on somebody who does exactly what Hojlund does, which is back into the defenders and just like run towards goal, you go, well, we're not doing anything different, and you'd probably criticize saying, this is just want a different option, something different. You can't get further apart in number 9s than Xerxes and Hojlund, to be fair. So I think on that, I can probably see why they've went for him, and he was relatively low cost. I know, look, £34 million shouldn't be scoffed at, but it's
and it was spread across, wasn't it? It wasn't just all
spread
in one.
across. It's within the price band of someone who's young, up and coming, and can give us a bit of a different vibe. It's not a statement signing. It's not a huge signing. It's not someone with a massive reputation. It's someone looking to build their reputation. So it fits for that. But like you said, at this point where this team is, where again we don't even know what we're going to get from game to game. We're still trying to search for that now. The style that Ten Hag does want to play, though, he definitely wants mobile forwards with what we've seen.
And unfortunately, we're in the situation, Flex, where, look, we need two things at the moment. We need results and we need goals. And Xerxes not like a goal scorer. So at a time which we're desperate for goals,
that's what I'm saying. He's just not going to play.
Then he's going to either not play, or he's going to come under scrutiny, because then people are going to go like, oh, then what kind of striker are you? But then it's already been established what kind of striker he is. He's not that kind of player. So
he's not.
That's where it does get difficult. And again, that's where I go back to the recruiting of going, okay, what did you think you were going to get? What system did you have in mind when you bought him? Or was this a situation where you knew getting him going to take some while to adjust? We didn't really, because let's face it, remember, you have to consider this too with Hojlund. Remember, he got injured in pre-season. So had Hojlund not got injured, Xerxes would have probably had the same role he's had right now anyway, which is take some time to adjust, take some time to settle in. It was only because we didn't have a striker at the start of the season because Hojlund got injured. And then actually Ten Hag started to pivot away from having Bruno as a false 9. It was almost kind of forced to start playing him a bit more often. And maybe that wasn't the plan in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And another thing for Xerxes is that I was checking so I've gone to a different tab. I just have to check something. Just because I need this.
I tell you what, he's not really reacting to that. What I'm really saying there that much.
Oh, am I going to have to refresh just from going to that fucking tab? So annoying. Well,
I think I was quite happy with that point going where you have to remember, Hojlund got injured and, that.
Yeah, I am going to go back to that tab a second.
You're still here for now.
Right, yeah, for now. I'll quickly read it to jump back. Basically, last year, he played 34 times in the league. And 32 with them were starts. So he played 37 games in all comps last year, and 34 of them, in the league. He was a consistent main man last year. I think also he's adapting to this sort of like, it's a new role, it's a new league. Because remember that first start against Liverpool, how out of sorts he looked. Like, there's the style and our tactics not being conducive to you, and then there's like you're nervous.
That's what I'm saying. If Hojlund hadn't got injured in pre-season, Hojlund would have played that game. And actually, 100%. Xerxes probably wouldn't have had really many starts, if any, in the league.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is exactly that. So it's a mixture of everything. It is the style of like, we don't really play with this guy, kind of drops off and links up. That's not really how we play. And then it's like, he is also struggling, like, as well. Like I've seen it with my eyes in the stadium. Like I've seen it, like he's struggling with the pace. He's struggling with like sort of anticipation and the sharpness, which again can be expected really early on in a new league, in a new country at Man United. You've got to give him time. In a struggling team.
Last night, Alice brought up the Havertz thing, and I didn't really get to say it because there was a lot of opinion, but I was thinking, we mention this sometimes with City as well, when they get signings in and they don't play that much or they have bad starts. Like, people don't pay attention as much to people that aren't playing well or aren't playing as much, new signings, if your team's winning. So last season when Havertz comes in and she points out, oh yeah, for 3 months the Arsenal fans were saying, why are they doing that? But Arsenal's still winning. So it didn't really matter. There's not the scrutiny on them. When you go into a team and you're a striker and you're not winning and the team's not scoring goals either, then that gets enhanced about, oh, is he going to make it? How good is he actually? Blah, blah, blah. Whereas if at the moment, he wasn't scoring goals, but we were winning, and the team was scoring goals, there wouldn't be as much scrutiny on it. There would be an extra amount of patience of, oh, it'll come good. It's okay. So he's unfortunate in that amount as well. Like, we've also been completely shit. So that always makes it a bit more difficult too, doesn't it? But like you said, can't, argue that it's been a difficult start for him. I still say I think he has shown some good moments. And it's way too early to say whether or not he'll work out for him at Manchester United or not.
Yeah, but nevertheless, they always say, it's not the message, it's the messenger, Flex. Don't listen to Carragher because he just wants to shit on us, the players and stuff like that. So we shouldn't be listening to him anyway. He's praised Rasmus Hojlund. No, it's the messenger. We don't like the messenger. So
no, we don't like Carragher's wrong.
That praise. Remember when he was dissecting our midfield against Fulham? He's just hating. He's just lying, even though he's getting run through every time. What else?
I did think it was funny during the international break. So when there was all the talk about Ten Hag, he then came out and went, I feel really sorry for him, actually. I think he's been quite hard done by. I was like, proper Don Robbie. Proper Don Robbie on that one.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I was like, I knew the first one had been like, Ineos bottle sacking him in the summer, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly he's gone, I actually think he's been hung up to dry, actually. I'm like,
no, wait a minute. Wait.
What a knobhead.
Robbie did one of them yesterday. It was proper. It was just perfect. It was literally so clippable, like for the soundboard.
I went back and watched the judges one as well. With the
did you see it?
David Raya, sloppy. Gabriel, sloppy. Arsenal, just too sloppy.
How funny was that, man? Oh, mate. That's better than done okay. And he said the done okay a couple of times as well to someone else. But
Gabriel, sloppy. You said that, and I went, I'm gonna have a look at this.
I went joking.
The thumbnail literally says sloppy Arsenal. I thought probably gonna be right. Gabriel, sloppy.
It's the way he says it. It's so funny, man. I love that guy. He's such a nice guy, man. He's such a nice guy. Right. We're at just under 1,000 people watching. Let's push that up, guys. Let's get to over 1,000 people watching. Let's get to 300 likes. We've got 264 right now. Get your super chats in, get your comments in, etc., etc. Use your perks, members. Get your chats in as well. Let us know what you're thinking, how you're feeling. If you've got any questions, let us know as well. Right. Next up, Owen. Obviously, Bruno's not going to be available against Fenerbahce. What are we going to do?
Well, we were talking about this last night when we were on the red carpet, saying what were we going to do. I think that it's not only who replaces Bruno, it's also what other midfielders have we got left, because we're a few light at the moment, with Kobe mainly being injured as well. And it also depends what formation Erik ten Hag goes with. Does he revert to 4-2-3-1? I mean, the funny thing about the one at the weekend, in fairness, is that on paper it looked like it was going to be a 4-2-3-1, and then once you actually saw it, you went, actually, that's not. It's a 4-4-2. So, and the 10 on paper, Bruno, was actually side by side with Hojlund, wasn't he? So
yeah, he was.
If he did play Eriksen higher up, it's not going to have like Eriksen's going to be next to Hojlund. I can't imagine that would be. Eriksen has the mobility for that. So the logical thing would be, if it's a 4-2-3-1, you just move Eriksen a little bit higher. He's in the 10. You have Ugarte and Casemiro, and then that's your team. But if he goes with the 4-4-2 again, that's when it gets a little bit different. Is it Eriksen and Casemiro deeper, and then is it Xerxes alongside Hojlund? Is it like an Ahmad alongside Hojlund? Is it like a Rashford alongside Hojlund, and then Ahmad comes into a wider position? I lean more towards the simplest answer would just be, he'll just have Eriksen in the 10, 4-2-3-1, Ugarte goes in. But do you think he could throw a bit of a curveball?
Let's leave your one on the side there, because that's probably the most likely. Let's talk curveballs. What possible curveballs could he do with who's available attacking wise? I'd say, well, Mason Mount's still not there, is he? So that's not an option. No. The only central midfielders we've got are Casemiro, Ugarte, Eriksen. Right? That's it. So a curveball could be playing the 4-4-2 still, and make Eriksen actually do what Bruno was doing, and he does kind of go up with Hojlund. That's why it's a curveball. I just can't see him doing that.
But I think even that's like the most curveball. I think.
Yeah,
Ahmad, there's some others.
Ahmad, I don't believe he'd put next to Hojlund as like a 2, doing what Bruno was doing.
Good morning. Ventriloquist Flex. I was amused this morning.
Is that because I froze?
Yeah.
Nubian
I
Pharaoh.
tell you what. To freeze for £100. Flex, go on another tab.
Best freeze ever done.
Go on another tab, mate. Do it now. start spamming tabs.
Yeah, he's gonna open it. Plus. Yeah.
The curveball was Nubian Pharaoh. Wasn't expecting that one. Yeah.
For that, just for a freeze frame, he has been acknowledged. Big up Nubian Pharaoh.
Exactly.
I'm pleased to have amused the Pharaoh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my best ventriloquist impression. So big up to you.
Me.
100%. Big up to Hambakaya. I'm going to say, sorry if I haven't pronounced your name correctly, but also their 10th super chat. Is that? Yeah, it is their 10th super chat. So big up to you. Carragher only plays Rasmus so that we would ignore the top wine on the shelf at United, which is Xerxes. If Xerxes can start scoring, he'll be an Ibrahimovic type figure for us. Wow.
I don't think Carragher's playing 4D chess, you know. I don't think.
I think he just thinks he's doing all right.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think of the position he's in, like with Liverpool and with United at the moment.
There's no need to point score.
He doesn't need to play mind games with us, does he?
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in the same way that we shouldn't write Xerxes off after just a few games, we also shouldn't say Zlatan Ibrahimovic over after a few games as well. It's that goes back to what we were saying before, isn't it? About we build players up too high and then we bring them down too quickly, don't we? You know, it's got to be, you got to take it steady. You know, with some of
Zlatan is like legitimately world class. Like you can't like,
and he's unique. There aren't in terms of like someone of his size, stature, and yet as good as he was with his feet, all rounder. You know, and got better as he got older as well. You know what I mean? As the pace when he was still, the guy came to Man United at the age of like 36 or whatever, you know, and was our top goal scorer for like a season, you know.
Way he looked after himself.
And we praise Cristiano Ronaldo for doing that. Zlatan did the same thing, literally, like around the same age as well. Boom. I'm going to score a shitload of goals, you know, in a team that finished 6th but won 2 trophies that season as well. Yeah. And he did his knee, so he didn't even play the full season.
And he came back from that at that age as well.
Exactly.
And then did he win the league in the
came back, went to the MLS, scored like some of their best goals ever,
and
then went to AC Milan when he was like 40 and won a Scudetto. Like fucking outrageous.
Like he says, mate, he's a lion. He's a machine.
Yeah,
whatever he says he is. He's not human.
Now he's the guy at AC Milan, right? He's running most of the show. Yeah. He's like one of their top directors, you know. So yeah, mad.
Big him up. Hambiaka also says Ibra was a poor finisher too until Capello took him under his wing at Juve. Xerxes has Ruud van Nistelrooy. Be patient. The goals will come, whether in year 1 or 2. Okay, you're saying let's just wait. He'll be okay, but I don't see shades of Zlatan in him in any way, shape, or form. But in terms of the patience of it coming in like 1 or 2 years potentially, then fair enough. But I definitely don't see any shades of Zlatan. Even their body type, how they move on the ball, not a chance. But stylistically, no. But the patience thing, I agree.
And that's why I say with Zlatan, because he's such a unique.
There's no one else like him.
Yeah, you can't really compare. You know what I mean?
No,
it's like
there were no other strikers like him, and it certainly is Xerxes.
It's like trying to compare someone to Peter Crouch. Very Peter Crouch-esque. Have you seen?
Yeah. They'd have to look. They'd have to look weird. Really.
Exactly. Peter Crouch is as a footballer. Yeah. I don't think he gets enough credit actually. Technically, footballers for his size and how lanky he is.
100%.
You would look at Peter Crouch and go, "There is no way in a million years that guy could be a footballer." Yeah, literally.
And one who's in the 100 club.
Yeah, and then you see him go, "Bloody hell, that's all right, isn't he?"
Scoring bicycle kicks, nice little touch. You know what I mean? Great feet, obviously good in the air. Yeah, Peter Crouch definitely for sure.
Yeah,
really good footballer. Where are we at now? So back to that. To finish that bit off.
So the curveball would have been
The
Ericsson
curveball,
and that.
Ericsson in there.
The two more likely curveballs then would be Xerxes, or would be a winger basically playing
Rashford.
that role. Yeah, so like
Rashford going up
and
there
then
with Hojlund,
and then Ahmad plays
and
out
then you
wide.
bring in Ahmad. But the only thing with that is he'd only leave himself with Antony on the bench. But you know, got to use him sometimes. So it's whether he would risk that, which I just think it's too much of a change. I just don't think he will do that. So I think we're likely to probably go 4-2-3-1, and then I think it's quite hybrid because at certain times to press. If you do put Ericsson, if you say Ericsson, you're the furthest forward, but go and join in as a 4-4-2, obviously you're not going to run around and press, but just for the shape. Because we don't, in that first phase, unless we change the tactics in Fenerbahce, which I don't know. In the first phase, in their third, we weren't really pressing. It was like a mid-block, wasn't it? So you can just say to Ericsson, just give us this shape. We've got Casemiro and Ugarte just behind you. Just be alongside Hojlund and slot across so they haven't got easy passes into midfield. Then when they get into our middle third, and definitely our final third, get into that 10 position, drop in and come and help. So, but when they set up from goal kicks, they might put Hojlund and Ericsson right at the top of the D on the edge of the box, and the two wingers go high to pen them in as well. And then you can leave Casemiro and Ugarte. But it depends whether, you know, they play a 4-2-3-1 Fenerbahce, whether they play 5 at the back. You just don't know, do you?
It depends what. You know, sometimes with those European away games, you know, you play a bit more defensively, don't you? You play a bit more shut up shop. You would hope as well. Like, let's say, hypothetically, and I say actually hypothetically, because it's actually happened to us a lot away in Europe under Erik ten Hag. Let's say we do early start, 1-0, 2-0, something like that. For the love of God, shut up shop.
Yeah.
Get to half time. Get to half time with a 2-0 lead. Yeah. So let's say you did start with a 4-2-3-1, have it so you can mid-game be like, right, let's change that 4-4-2. Let's just, you know, let's just take the sting out of the game. That's fine. There's no problem. Just it's almost like sometimes in those away games in Europe, like because it's going well, the mentality, let's just keep it going. Let's just keep it going. And it's like, no, it's going to collapse any second. So do you know how wild that is, isn't it? Like, let's say we had a really good start against Fenerbahce. We would be so nervous.
Oh, we did it. We did it against Galatasaray. We did it against Copenhagen. We've done it.
Against Porto.
It's not like, and that's the thing about these games, yeah. That's exactly. In all these away games, European, it's not like the atmosphere swallowed us up so much that at no point we've been not able to perform. Against Galatasaray, again, the 2 goals we scored from Bruno and flipping Garnacho were unbelievable.
Roof for the net.
I mean,
and we were really worried about that. We were like, our atmosphere is going to be bad. And I remember Garnacho scored the first, and he was brilliant. And let's face it, against Porto, I know there were 2 goalkeeping mistakes, but for the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, we were really good. We were like, I tell you what, this is
atmosphere
excellent.
weren't a problem. So we've proved that like we can shut it out and go, right, let's play some stuff here. But what we've also proved is when we get into those good positions, like you said, the ability to maintain that focus and that level of performance is alarmingly bad. Like any mistake, any goal against the run of play or momentum shift, like say they have one shot where you go, oh, bloody hell, they got in a little bit there. That was close. Let's get back on it. They can't plug it.
Yes, it's like
that team will keep coming and you start going, they're going to score.
Or we go with 2-0 up. And then, you know, like, say you're playing like FIFA or whatever, and you're 2-0 up against someone, you're playing online, they score a goal, you go, it's all right, I've got 2 goals. They think that. They go, it's all right, we got 1 goal. You go, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's coming. It's coming in like 5 minutes.
Against Porto, you see when we was 2-0 up, and look, there were 2 bad goalkeeping errors from Costa as well. But we kept coming. Like I'm looking at it, I go, bloody hell, the Porto fans that I spoke to are right. These aren't good. They're just kicking the ball back to us. They're just not good. But they still had this kind of mini threat where they kept crossing it. And I was like, better watch out for that.
The first few minutes they were like ball over the top, ball out wide, put balls into the box, and there was like we headed it away a few times. You went, that might come back. If that keeps happening, you know what I mean? Then it did all game
to the point where, again, like I said, we pretty much end up losing it until the last second. So I think what we have learned is that we and this is just off the evidence, not the final result. The evidence shows us we're capable in spells of playing all right in these games. I don't think we'll go to Fenerbahce and get destroyed 4-0 from start to finish. It's about how we manage those moments when we're playing bad versus when Fenerbahce get a bit stronger. Can you not concede in that time? Can you see that bit out? Then can you settle down and bring your performance levels back up? Or better still, just keep it consistent throughout the whole match where you finish it and go, you know what? I mean, the atmosphere is loud and that, but No, I tell you, Fenerbahce didn't really hurt us.
I'm
really,
looking
did
forward
they?
to it. I'm looking to. I
Yeah,
think,
I can't wait.
I mean, obviously you're going to be there, so the atmosphere is
Yeah.
going to be insane. But I think, from a story point of view, there's so much story in that game, isn't there? Because of Jose, because of the extra United players, because it's away in a great atmosphere. I mean, it's not the European nights we want. Obviously, we want to be playing on the Tuesday or Wednesday. Well, technically Thursday now, Champions League games. But but still, I am kind of looking forward to it because I'm like, oh,
yeah. And these and this is the last out of the group ones we've got. Porto and this were the ones where you go right because it's not Rangers away, it's Rangers home. So for us, it should feel like any other game. Obviously, Rangers fans will come and give it, and they're massive club. But in terms of the golf, that should be apparent.
In terms of
between the two.
hostile atmosphere. I mean, who the other away games? As so, I would say
Bodo Glimt. No, Poak's at home, I think.
Is that at home? Who's the away one?
Bodo Glimt, I think, is who we got away.
I tell you what, if that is away, that is not easy because big teams have gone there and lost. Like no joke.
Have they?
Yeah, that's when.
Where is that? Is that in Hungary? Where is Bodo Glimt? What league?
Isn't that Is it not? That's at home anyway.
Bodo Glimt's at home.
Yeah.
Oh,
that Bodo Glimt was the team that when Jose's Roma went there and they pumped him. Was it like 7?
Oh yes. I remember that. Oh, was that team? So
yeah, it's that team.
Who else
we've got as so to Poak at home, Bodo Glimt at home. We've got Victoria Pilsen away,
right,
and Rangers at home, and then the last one is that Steaua Bucharest
away.
Steaua Bucharest away, Romania.
Okay, so Romania and where's Pleasant from?
Victoria Pilsen. Isn't that Czech Republic?
Oh, Czech. Okay, so Czech and Romania. Okay, so yeah, but so out of the two anyway, Porto and Fenerbahce. But like I said, they couldn't have some of our tricky atmospheres. Plastic pitches or different kind of stadiums. It was a challenge, but we've proved that we can play for moments. It's about how
they were the games, like you said. The Porto away and the Fenerbahce games were the ones earmarked when the draw went out. Or like, they could be not great results.
Norwegian team. You say Norwegian? Oh, okay.
That's Bodo Glimt.
Oh, sorry, but that's home. Right. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool. All right, interesting. To finish off, make sure you guys like the video, smash the like as well. Subscribe to the channel. Lenny Yoro just coming back in. Look, I try to refrain away from he's back, because I think it's still very clear he's got a little while to go. But being back doing individual training, going to the grass by himself is a significant step, though. And Man United, to be fair, the reason why we are talking about it a bit more is because I think Man United want us to, all the training videos and all the pictures and stuff like that. And you do forget, this is a really exciting signing. We've had to restart our excitement again because of how knocked back we were. We only got to see him against Rangers and 15, 20 minutes against Arsenal before he got injured. But he's stepping up his recovery.
Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, he's back on the grass. It was the next step in his recovery program was to actually be out on the grass, individual training, kicking the ball a little bit, doing some running. Of course, the week prior, we saw him on one of those treadmills with the bubble kind of thing. But I must be stressed that I do say there's a long road still to go when it comes to his recovery. He's still being kept under the watchful eye of the medical staff.
Whatever that means.
Exactly. When it comes to all of that. But it was said before, wasn't it, that they would hope to have him back by November, but you would probably think maybe late November. So there'll still be a month or so to go after the next international break, maybe, is what they're looking at. And then just in general, when he is back, there was discussion about how many games he's going to be playing anyway, because, he's a young player and it's not as if we don't have a lot of central defenders at Manchester United. But it will be interesting to see, and this was brought up last night, when he does come back, because of the abundance of central defenders that we have, and we've said before about possibly going to a back three, I don't think that's impossible. When you think about some of the ones that we've got then, if you had say, Yoro, De Ligt, and Martinez as the left centre-back, that could work. That could work.
It could work, but I just think it would be abandoning too much of what Erik ten Hag wants at the top end of the pitch.
Maybe in the future, not with Erik.
Well, that's different. Absolutely, you can't rule that out for sure. Because then you're going down the route of maybe a 5-3-2, and then you go right. Well, just two central strikers. It's Rashford and Hojlund, or it's something different. Without traditional wingers, where would Garnacho fit into that? He's not a wing back. Wouldn't really want to see him there. But stranger things have happened, haven't they? You know, he's not a left wing back or right wing back now, but in the new system, new manager in the future, you just never know. But definitely not under Eric. At no point has he ever played a back five ever, apart from like during a game to see it out. I think actually when Lindelof ended up coming on for that last however many minutes, I think there was actually technically a back five then.
I mean, sometimes the
but
later
it's
stages
not
of some
something.
Ten Hag games, we've had Bruno Fernandes at centre back before.
Oh,
so.
exactly. You can't. Yeah, but in terms of, I know he's gone to this 4-4-2 here and there, and that's not his usual philosophy. 4-2-3-1, maybe a diamond here or there, which didn't work. He's never gone back to it. But three at the back, he's never really. He's definitely never started a game in that way. I don't think.
Not for us. Not that. No, I can remember for us. No,
and that's even in our darkest times when we need a result and stuff. He's never gone to that. So I don't think that with Eric, but you're right. In terms of the options available, if you said them three, maybe try out an EAFC first.
Them three.
Like. I mean,
Dallo right wing back, and then a future unknown signing of a left wing back.
Alphonso Davies.
I've seen that. That's our United's dream signing.
Yeah, dream on.
But you know what it is with that,
Actually, you never know.
I would say exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say with that. As much as unlikely you roll your eyes, no way, because it feels like, isn't it? That's another one where it's like he's going to Real Madrid. But we said that about Leniaro, so
yeah.
Who knows?
There you go. Right, guys, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Big up to each and every one of you, and we'll see you very, very soon. Also, what I will say is I am off to Turkey tomorrow, Istanbul. And you guys are going to love it.
Not for the game, just sorting out your hair, aren't you? That's
not
for the game at all.
Sorting out my beard, sorting out my hair, new hairline. Going to come back with everything new, right?
And Josh Townsend, you're going to have that.
I'm going to come back with a massive afro, and guess what?
You did.
Lone Ranger. Oh, it'd be amazing. Lone Ranger, mate. Also going by myself. I'm in charge of all recording, all filming. Yeah. Guess what? On this phone right here, mate. Yeah. On this phone right here. Yeah. Guess what, mate? Yeah. Guess what? For all you laughing, thinking he's not gonna be able to do it, yeah. Guess what, mate? Yeah. Guess what? Yeah. Proper things. Yeah. Proper things. Got the correct connection and everything. Yeah. The correct flexion. Yeah. Yeah. So the Flecknology, I'm gonna be on. If you don't think that's worth tuning in for, to see me by myself in Istanbul, collating footage with mics and plugging things in and whatever, then I don't know what you want to see. Flecknology on tour, solo. No Josh. Long story. Big up Josh. He's all right, by the way. He's fine. But Flecknology on tour in Istanbul, solo. Do not miss it. I'm going to do a vlog, obviously. Mix zone, whatever. It's going to be whatever I do, you'll see. Yeah. And how it comes out, I don't know. But
we'll see.
That's part of
we'll see.
It's part of the fun. At least smash a like for that. Me going on tour by myself with all the technology. So see you lot in Istanbul when I get there. I got a 6 a.m. flight, so very, very early.
It is early. My goodness me.
Long story. Anyway, less about that, the better. Right, I'm out of here. Take care. See you later. Flexing KG show later on tonight, 7 p.m. That'll be the last thing I do before I'm absolutely knackered and got to get to bed, like I said, because I've got a 6 a.m. flight. So, yes, I'm out of here. Take care. Peace.